A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media, and we are going back to Star Wars Legends The Empire Volume 1, continuing with our look through this omnibus edition. We are up to Star Wars Purge, The Tyrant's Fist, number 1. So, we start on this planet where Vader is exploring some ruins, trying to hunt down some Jedi. They appear to be ambushed. And this Jedi Master takes out a few of the clone troopers. And Vader, gets his usual pissy self, does his thing. And the Jedi Master that he is hunting kind of mocks him. In his rage, he throws one of the clone troopers through a cliff for questioning him and his motives. Then we come to this city. I believe this is Veclan, and we have the Imperials kind of have taken this place over, but the inhabitants of this city still look up to the Jedi. So much so that the Imperials that are kind of posted there, Vader is trying to work out from them, why are these people so invested in the Jedi when the Jedi betrayed the Empire and the Jedi have died out, and, typical Vader questioning stuff. We find out that Vader has actually captured the apprentice, or the Padawan, I should say, of the Jedi Master that he is looking for. And the apprentice is kind of taunting him. The Padawan, is kind of taunting him a bit. And then Vader force chokes him and tortures him. And then he eventually lets out that his master is hiding in the Jedi Temple ruins outside of the city. At this point, there is a raid on the Imperial base to try and rescue this Padawan. The Padawan manages to escape his bonds, but Vader, having none of it, pretty much just slices his throat with his lightsaber, thus killing this lizard-looking Padawan. He is contacted by Palpatine. Vader lets him know that 2 of the 3 Jedi that he's been looking for are dead. He only has 1 more left to hunt. And if the population won't turn around, then he's going to commence planetary bombardment from his Star Destroyer. Palpatine is like, Vader, you got to think long-term, buddy. Stop being a psychopath, mate. He's really angry with him. He's like, fuck off. And Vader's like, okay. So Vader calls this Imperial from the city in, trying to work out why they are so enamored with the Jedi and what can we do to break their spirits. And that moves into the Tyrant's Fist number 2. We see in the center of this city, they have statues of 3 famous Jedi. And the Imperial officer that met with Vader commences to blow these statues up with one of the tanks. In the meantime, they are hunting for this Jedi. They head to the abandoned Jedi Temple, where they are attacked. The clone troopers are attacked by these feral beasts, supposedly trained by a famous Jedi beast master, although Vader has never heard of a Jedi who was able to tame beasts in such a fashion. He ends up killing the guy who is lurking in the temple, and then decides to leave the planet. He can't find this Jedi, so he's just decided to leave the planet. But it was a ruse. The Jedi was there in the temple ruins, found his friend, and Vader finds him, in which case they start to fight. Very cool looking alien here with 4 arms and the extra lightsabers, a bit like Grievous, but he looks better. Vader is lured into the temple where he can't use his lightsabers because of this combustible gas, but at the same time, Vader tells this alien Jedi that you won't be able to breathe either. They get into a bit of a fisticuffs. Vader beats the crap out of him and then pins him to the ground with the lightsaber pressed to his cheek. Very brutal. He lets the guy live. He says, "You're not worth it," and he pretty much walks away. This Jedi Master stumbles out into the town looking for help. People kind of turned away. They're a bit disgusted by his pleading and whatnot. And he ends up just getting shot by a stormtrooper. And the people have turned away. This was Vader's plan all along, to make the people of this city, the people of this planet, kind of look in disgust at the Jedi and to show them that the Empire can offer them so much more. Vader is praised by Palpatine for his tactics. And then we see on the last page of the issue, the city and a young person who's picking up a piece of the broken Jedi statue and carrying it away, kind of symbolizing there is still some hope left with the Jedi themselves. All in all, I did enjoy these two issues. I thought they were very well written. I thought the art was superb. The pacing was really good. And the story was just a really good kind of Vader story. But as you will see coming up, we have a better Vader story in the works. So we now move on to Star Wars Darth Vader and the Lost Command. Pardon me. This is issue 1 of 5. This is a 5-issue kind of mini-series. First of all, the cover of issue 1 is awesome. I cannot stress how wonderful the covers of these comics are. So we open with Padme and Anakin, and Padme is, of course, pregnant, and they're talking about the future and what is going to happen. And then we see that this is in Vader's mind. Vader is rigged up to his kind of device, and he is about to be put back together again, so to speak. All the while, he's kind of whispering, keep me sane, my love," thinking about Padme. Once he is back together again, he is summoned to the Emperor. The Emperor, of course, tells him to kneel. And he says, "What is thy bidding, my master?" And we find out that Grand Moff Tarkin's son, Garrosh Tarkin, has gone missing. And the Emperor is sending Vader to search for him and basically bring him back. Grand Moff Tarkin doesn't like Vader. I don't know if he's Grand Moff at this point, but he doesn't like Vader. And he even goes so far as to say, "I wouldn't have picked you for this mission." Vader is teamed up with Captain Shale. Vader's a bit pissed off with this. He doesn't need an escort, but Captain Shale is going along anyway. So they head to the first planet that they need to. It's a snow planet. They see a base that is heavily guarded. And they decide to attack it. Vader creates a distraction while Shale's men decide to take the stealth route over. They get inside the base. They pretty much slaughter everyone inside. They come out with no knowledge of where Garrosh Tarkin is at this point. None of the people from this compound are saying anything. But right at the very end, they are approached by a woman who tells Vader that she is the High Priestess of Atone, and she will help Vader find Garrosh Tarkin. And that moves us into Star Wars Darth Vader and the Lost Command, Issue 2. Another fantastic cover there. Okay, so aboard his Star Destroyer with the High Priestess Sorrow, Vader is kind of dissecting one of these Atoan alien people. They pretty much have different physiology. They have no hearts and things like that. So it's all very fascinating to Vader. And Sorrow says, listen, I will help you, but there's something that I want. I want you to announce me Empress of the Ghost Nebula. If you do that, I will help you find Garrosh Tarkin. So Vader, still pondering on this, has her led away and has the bodies kind of incinerated. Has a little bit of a run-in with Captain Shale. They're still kind of going back and forth, and then we see Padme, Anakin, and their son Jin, named, of course, after Qui-Gon Jinn. And Padme is going out to address the Senate, and Jin says to his father, you know, if this works, the Jedi are going to be obsolete. And Anakin says, we can only hope. And Vader wakes up, throws the lid off of his chamber, and is in a bit of a daze. He goes to see Sorrow and agrees to her terms. They head to Tarkin's Star Destroyer. It looks as if it has been sabotaged from the inside, and just as they get closer, they are attacked by Atoans in fighters. They manage to survive this ambush, but Vader wants one of them alive, so he forcefully crashes one of the ships into the Star Destroyer itself. And when the survivors of that crash come out, they go to Vader's ship, but Vader is not there. And then Vader says, I only need one of you alive, and kills the other one. So he got the information he needed. He tells Palpatine that they are already en route to their next target. And Palpatine is basically saying, you need to complete this mission because even though Garrosh Tarkin can be replaced, his father cannot. They end up going to this planet that is oceans of tar, and Vader, and while Sorrow and Captain Shale are talking about this planet of tar, Vader is still communing with the Emperor, and he says, listen, if I kill Garrosh Tarkin, we make it look like it was the insurgents that did it, then Tarkin's going to be angry, and he's going to be more used to the Empire, and Palpatine agrees. So Vader basically comes back to this battle room and says, we are going to hit them with a surprise attack. We move into the Darth Vader and the Lost Command, Issue 3. They have sent ground troops down. These walkers are walking through the tar, and the Atoans are basically taking them out one by one and then escaping. But it's all a ruse so that Vader and a squad led by Captain Shale and with Sorrow in tow can infiltrate. So they get into the base. They manage to kill some of the protectors. They get through all the traps and whatnot, only to find that Garrosh Tarkin is not there as a prisoner. He has been moved. There is, however, a protocol droid who offers Vader a gift. He says he left this gift should anyone come for him, and it is a bomb. Vader manages to basically survive the blast, as does Shale and Saru, and they end up going up to the bridge of this base or whatever, and Vader kind of does his thing to find out where Tarkin is, and he discovers that apparently these people have pledged their loyalty to Garrosh Tarkin and to the Empire, and they now view Tarkin as a traitor because the Empire has actually attacked them. So there's a little bit of a twist there. Vader basically realizes that Shale and Tarkin are friends, have been friends for a long time, and he believes that Tarkin has turned traitor. Anakin and Padme again, having one of those weird dreams, and Anakin is trying to get a nap, and Padme warns him that assassins are coming, and he wakes up rather abruptly to see the room filled with assassin troopers. Now we go into Darth Vader and the Lost Command, issue 4. Vader manages to take out the assassins, of course, realizing who sent them and why. He discovers that Shale has left and has sabotaged the Star Destroyer to blow up. Vader manages to get Saru, and they manage to escape the destruction in an attack shuttle, but it crashes, and we find out that only a handful of troopers have survived. They find the bodies of more troopers, and Vader realizes that this has been a trap, this has been an ambush, and so he kind of does his Vader thing, takes the fight to them, and then we finally see Captain Shale turning on the other troopers with his own command, and Vader gets roasted with a flamethrower and then knocked out by Saru with a stun pistol or stun, whatever, you know, the stun thing where it boop, 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 boop. Vader wakes up. He's got an oxygen mask on. You can see his face is burnt. He's tied there, and he's been confronted by Garrosh Tarkin, who he's wondering why he's still alive, and Tarkin is like, you willed yourself back from the dead. Tarkin kind of explains that he's not turned traitor to the Empire, but he does have his own motivations and reasons for doing what he's doing. Anakin starts to see Padme and realizes that he killed her and she was pregnant. And then we move into issue 5, the last issue of this miniseries. Padme is looking at him, telling him how broken he is, and that she's kind of taunting him a little bit, and this pisses him off, so he breaks free of his bonds and charges into where Tarkin and Saru are, and they've kind of declared their love for each other with Captain Shale watching. Vader does his Vader thing, and Shale decides, you know what, you're going to die, and you're going to die by your own weapon, your own lightsaber, but Vader's not having any of it, beats the shit out of Captain Shale, but Captain Shale has one last trick up his sleeve, and that is a detonator, and he blows himself up. Tarkin and Saro are kind of fleeing. Tarkin's a little upset because this was his best friend, of course. And then Vader, while hunting them through these caverns, keeps getting approached by images of Padme, who says that she forgives him. And this is just Saro messing with his head, messing with his heart. And Vader finds them. Vader's about to kill Garrosh, and Saro's like, please don't. There's been enough killing. And then Vader is like, you know what? Fuck this. And he just brings the whole cave down on top of the two of them. We find out that Saro is also pregnant with Tarkin's child. Vader wakes up. He's in his little chamber thing, and Palpatine is like, you were under there for 4 days. How did you get out? And Vader's like, the dark side gave me everything that I needed. Garrosh Tarkin is, of course, dead. Grand Moff Tarkin, although I don't think he's Grand Moff at this point, is now full of hatred and rage, and is serving the Empire better. And of course, Vader kneels. What is thy bidding, my master? Okay, this was a really cool mini-series. I really enjoyed the bringing in Admiral Tarkin's son into it. I like the character of Captain Shale. I like the kind of twisty plot at the end where Shale and Tarkin are friends, and then they're kind of doing it. The people have sworn allegiance already to the Empire, and Vader's come in and just fucked everything up. Really, really cool story. Really enjoyed it. Okay, last for this video is going to be Star Wars Dark Times, Issue 1, The Path to Nowhere, Part 1 of 5. Now, we are basically brought back to the character of, if I can remember his name, let me just flip back here because I've forgotten the guy's name already. Broken. Someone can remember his name for me, please. It would be Janier, Das Janier, yes. We are brought back to the character of Das Janier and Bomo, the Nosorian. This is from way back in the beginning of the previous video. So we're revisiting these characters. So we have the Emperor is in his kind of chamber in Coruscant, meeting with some of his advisors. He sends them out and he talks to Vader. He tells Vader that the 501st are hunting Jedi at the moment, and Vader wants to do something. And Palpatine's like, "What are you going to do?" And he says, "Just be patient. You know, I'll have something for you soon." Then back on New Plinto, Das Janier and the Nosorians are attacking the Empire through kind of hit-and-run tactics, so to speak. The clone troopers are pretty much decimating them. And just when they thought they were kind of getting the upper hand as they were retreating and kind of holding off this attacking Empire army, Janier and Bomo fall into a pit that is caused by one of the tanks firing, and the rest of the Nosorian army is completely obliterated after they surrender. So they've surrendered, and then the Empire start firing on them regardless. Janier and Bomo wake up in this cave. The 501st, who are the leading this army that are attacking, have found no survivors. They've wiped them out. Bomo and Janir managed to climb up out of the hole and discover all of their dead soldiers. And Bomo is ready to fight, but Janir is like, no, let's just hold back. Let's sneak into the city and see what we can see. So they get into the main city, and they discover that it's pretty much in lockdown. They sneak on board a ship where they meet the captain and the rest of the crew. And they kind of hide out there, but they find out that all the women and all the children have been taken by the Empire. So Bomo is like, my wife and my daughter, I've got to go get them, but they can't get out because the place is in lockdown. And the Imperials are going to start coming kind of ship to ship doing inspections. And Bomo discovers at the very end of this issue that his wife and his daughter have been taken to be sold as slaves. This leads us into part 2 of 5, The Path to Nowhere. Vader wants to find out what's happening on New Plimto. He is informed of the status at the moment, but he's also told that the Nosorian civilians are going to be sold on the slave market. And you know what Anakin and slavery is like. So he goes to confront Palpatine about this. Now on the ship, they're trying to think of a way to get off-world. We kind of find out that this crew is a crew of like smugglers, but there's something more behind them. We're not quite sure. I'm wondering if this isn't building up for a storyline at some point in the future, because each of these crew members is really, really cool. So Dash Janir says, listen, I'll come up with a plan to get us off planet. What we need to do is we need to get all the ships to launch at once. And the captain says, well, listen, some of these ships are kind of in with the Empire. So the minute they get wind of this plan, they're going to snitch. So we can't really do that. And Janir says, okay, just leave it to me. So he goes out and he takes control of a troop transports by pretending to be one of the troopers. He kind of steals the ship, and then he comes in and starts blasting at one of the ships that is loyal to the Empire. At this point, the captain of the ship that they were hiding on, the Uhuli, I think it's called, broadcasts that the Emperor or the Empire is going to start destroying all the ships in the hangars. We have to escape. And this is backed up by Dash Janir shooting and blowing up that ship. So everyone panics and they all fly out of the starport. There's some cool kind of dogfighting battles and stuff like that. But ultimately the ploy works and the ship manages to escape. They are trying to find where the slaves have been taken or where the slave auction is. And they know the planet that this is being, the slave auction is being held on. So they decide to go there. Janir and Bomo kind of are back and forth on whether or not they need to get help from this crew, because the crew have already done enough for them at this point. And Vader is kind of looking off in the distance here and wondering whether or not things are going to work out, so to speak. The Path to Nowhere, 3 of 5. Vader and Palpatine are talking. Palpatine acknowledges that, yes, I know you're a slave, but slavery is necessary in the Empire. It's better than having no workers. These people are going to be treated well. Just kind of deal with it. So they get to... They're in space, they're getting to where they're going, they're kind of making a plan, formulating what they're going to do, and when they land on the slave planet, they go off to explore. They have different disguises on, so to speak, and they manage to find some of the slaves where the slaves are being kept. At that point, this beast has kind of broken away from its handler and is going a little bit crazy, but Dasjanier manages to kind of help to subdue it, while Mesgraf, this dog-looking thing, manages to kind of calm it down. And so everyone is kind of grateful for that, but Dasjanier used up a lot of his kind of energy getting the guards to look the other way, using the old Jedi mind trick, so to speak. Bomo finds the Nosorian slaves, but is captured by one of the guards. The crew come to his rescue and end up fighting and killing the guards. And we find out from the slaves that Bomo's wife... These are all people that know Bomo and know Dasjanier as well. And they're expecting Dasjanier to free them, but he can't. If he frees them now, then they are going to pretty much be slaughtered when they try to escape. He tells Bomo that the slavers came for his daughter, and his wife, trying to protect her, was killed by the guards. So his wife is dead and his daughter has been taken. They try and tell the Nosorians, listen, your best bet is to stay here, stay safe, and we're sorry, but we can't help you. Bomo is kind of inconsolable at this point, and Dasjanier has to turn his back on these people that are begging for his help. Vader in the... the Star Destroyer with Vader, yeah. They are going off to do something, but the 501st, not exactly sure what. So Bomo is trying to get out of the ship, although Dasjanier says you have to keep him there while I go and find out where she is, where this girl is. Pardon me. And Bomo tries to escape, but the crew kind of hold him back. Dasjanier manages to climb up to the penthouse suite of the guy that sold Bomo's daughter. And Janier manages to get the information from him, and then he has a choice to make. Does he kill this guy or let him live? And if he lets him live, the guards are going to come. Now, killing is, of course, against the Jedi Code. This guy is unarmed. Dasjanier has a pistol. And Janier ultimately ends up shooting him in the head, just as his guards kind of come running in, firing at him. Janier manages to escape. There's a big chase through the city. He manages to get back to the ship. And he's like, I know where she has been taken. Let's go and get her. The crew, we don't expect you to come, but the crew are like, no, we fucking signed on for this. We will help you out. And they head off to find Bomo's daughter. Okay, we are now part 5 of 5. The Emperor is kind of admonishing Vader for going off and doing his own thing. Bomo and the crew land on the planet that Bomo's daughter has been sold to. They kind of infiltrate and discover that she was sold to this wealthy guy who's kind of a recluse, this rich guy that lives on this tower, surrounding himself with kind of droid soldiers as guards and whatnot. And we find out that he's just eaten a meal. Now, think about this for a second, because this is going to come back at the end, and it is so supremely fucked up, it's not funny. So the ship manages to land at this wealthy guy's residence. They bust in, taking out some of the kind of guard droids. Janeer goes on his way, and the guy tries to escape, but he's ultimately stopped and found. And Janeer has him at gunpoint. Bomo comes up, and Bomo's like, "Where is my daughter?" And the guy says, "Listen, you're too late. She's already dead." And Janeer is like, "Why would you do that? Why would you kill a child?" And the wealthy guy's like, because I could, and to eat her, of course. So that meal that he was just finishing was Bomo's daughter. He basically bought a child slave for the express purpose of killing her and eating her. This is a Star Wars comic, remember. I just want everyone to remember that. This is a fucking Star Wars comic. Bomo is absolutely livid, but before he can do anything, Janeer kills this guy, and Bomo is like, "It was my chance. Like, you stole that from me. You stole my purpose from me." And Janeer is like, "No, I didn't. If you had done it, there was no coming back from that. At least now you've got some chance of redemption." Vader remains in his Star Destroyer. Bomo is lamenting what's happened. The crew is trying to console him. Janeer is about to get rid of his lightsaber, but then decides to keep it. And they go off in the ship for another adventure. And that will lead us into Dark Times, issue 6, Parallel, part 1 of 5, but we will get to that at a different time. Okay, this story was amazing. I loved bringing back the character of Dash Janeer. I love bringing back Bomo, and I love the fact that they were central to this, and this wasn't just a Vader story again. It was chilling at the end. I mean, the whole idea of the Nosorians being sold into slavery is kind of messed up to begin with, but then that guy just buying Bomo's daughter and just to eat her was so fucking messed up. I did not see that coming when I read this. I literally didn't. I'm like, what the fuck? Another fantastic collection of issues in this omnibus. So far, all of them have been hits. Not a single one, in my opinion, has been a miss. If you liked the video, please click the little button that tells me you liked it. Subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell your friends. Get your friends to subscribe. We need about 60 more subscribers and we'll be at 500. And when I hit 500, special video coming. Not going to tell you what it is. You need to get me to 500 subscribers. You need to get Plaguelands Media to 500 subscribers. The more subscribers we have, the better video content we can make for you guys. Okay? So there you have it. Please don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos that Plaguelands Media produces. Got a few more coming out in the near future before I go back to work next week. And then we'll go back to the regular schedule of a couple on Sundays if I can do it. But I'm incredibly busy with work and life stuff at the moment, so just kind of bear that in mind. Okay, everyone, please stay safe. Have a fantastic rest of your day. But most importantly, read a fucking book, people.